You know, they got new polls out today which show that the lead that Democrats had for the House going into the midterms, it was 15 points back in October. Everybody's been saying for months the Republicans are going to get an absolute shellacking. They're going to lose the House. Now, the polls say that lead is down to 5 points, almost within the margin of error. And typically in the past, if Democrats are slightly ahead in the polls, they've lost the House. So they have to be way ahead to win it. That's all, Alex, taken place over the last couple of months or so, especially in the last month. And I think it's related to this Second Amendment issue.
We're back live. Paul Watson's riding shotgun. I'm getting out of here in a segment. We're taking calls with Paul. He's got a big guest coming up. Don't forget, BrainForce Plus is 50% off our best-selling product and free shipping. You can also get the Real Red Pill. It's got free shipping. Now, they're both 50% off, but you got to get them together to get the free shipping. You can get Red Pill, the Real Red Pill. It's 50% off. You can get BrainForce 50% off, but you get them together, free shipping. They go together. It takes about 7 days for the Red Pill to kick in. It takes about 30 minutes for BrainForce to kick in, but that is a huge discount. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, and you absolutely, by buying the products with us, have changed the whole game. They're panicking. They don't know what to do. InfoWarsStore.com. Paul, tell us what you got coming up today, my friend.
We've got Roaming Millennial coming up at the bottom of the hour, Alex, but before I get into that, I want to talk about this Second Amendment issue because, you know, they got new polls out today which show that the lead that Democrats had for the House going into the midterms, it was 15 points back in October. Everybody's been saying for months the Republicans are going to get an absolute shellacking. They're going to lose the House. Now, the polls say that lead is down to 5 points, almost within the margin of error. And typically in the past, if Democrats are slightly ahead in the polls, they've lost the House. So they have to be way ahead to win it. That's all, Alex, taken place over the last couple of months or so, especially in the last month. And I think it's related to this Second Amendment issue. Okay, the March for Our Lives, as we know, was basically a recruitment voter drive for Democrats. You know, less than 10% of the attendees were kids. They're doing it to recruit voters. They don't care about gun violence. I mean, it would be naive to think that they do. It's all about power, okay? So that's why they're doing it. But again, this Second Amendment issue is so toxic. They're not going to get significant gun control through this year. Maybe they'll get it next year if they get the House, but they're not going to get it this year. What single issue, Alex, would get Republicans out to vote in the midterms above all others? What fear would get them out to vote? Well, it would be the confiscation of their firearms. This is backfiring. It's backfiring big time, especially now that we see the true face of it with this call. You know, you saw the protest signs on Saturday. Ban all guns. We're going to take them from your cold, dead hands. You've got the New York Times editorial today, op-ed, repeal the Second Amendment. This is going to backfire. This is working in our favor because it might get Republicans out to vote. It might give them an issue, you know, a point on which to vote, which they don't have right now. This is going to backfire, and the polls suggest that it already is. So far from being worried about this, we should be supporting the Parkland students. We should be encouraging them to continue getting up on national media platforms, calling for all guns to be banned, doing it in the kind of vulgar language that we've seen from David Hogg recently, because it's not good PR. It's blowing up in their faces. And the polls are beginning to show that. Trump's approval's up again as well, by the way, on a CNN poll. So I think we really need to support the Parkland students. We need to amplify those who are calling for a repeal of the Second Amendment because tactically it's going to work in our favor.
Paul, I know Gallup. I know the other major polls generally sample 9 to 15 points more Democrat. They claim there's more Democrats. That's not really true. And we saw that during the presidential campaign, and they admitted that it was fake and that Trump was actually generally about 5-10 points ahead. The problem is I'm looking at their actions and the way they're behaving. They know short term this is going to hurt them. I think they're winding up jihadi attacks. I think they know about other mental patients that are going to attack. Broward cowards stood down. We believe the attack happened, but they stood down. And I think just like Vegas was tied to jihadis, that's now been confirmed. And we now have the Pulse nightclub father and son reportedly being FBI informants. We first broke that back when it happened. I think they've got some crazies they're watching that they know are getting ready to do something big that they're going to let attack. And they've set this precedent saying never again, not one more. I agree, the Stormy Daniels thing about consensual sex 11 years ago and him treating her great and then talking about not wearing a condom is so humiliating. How could you not feel sorry for the president who never claimed he was a goody two-shoes? It's like breaking into somebody's bedroom. It's pure harassment. It's stalking. So, yeah, that's got him even in CNN polls that sample 20-something% more Democrat. It's got him up, 5, 6, 7 points. Same thing with Gallup. Same thing with Mason-Dixon. Same thing with, all of these. I'm just saying, I don't think we can be too confident, though, because Soros has successfully overthrown dozens of countries, including Ukraine 4 years ago, and they've got a plan. I agree they're arrogant. Why would you have Tar go on, and say, we're going to give us an inch, we'll take you a mile? Why would you have the former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens say, repeal the Second Amendment, mass gun confiscation? Why would you have Democrats say, we don't care, don't turn your guns in, we'll kill you? I'm going to ask you that question in a moment and let you take over with all the great job you're doing. Paul Watson at Prison Planet on Twitter, one of the hottest Twitter accounts out there, despite the censorship. But let's go to Tar admitting Saturday their game plan.
There are so very many things, so many steps to take. Like right now, sign our petition. It takes 2 seconds, and it matters. We will take the big, and we will take the small, but we will keep fighting. When they give us that inch, that bump stock ban, we will take a mile. We are not here for breadcrumbs. We are here for real change.
But, again, she's up there, the very same group that funded Madonna to be there a year before the Women's March is funding this. Total AstroTurf. They tried to ban us from criticizing them a month ago, saying they were AstroTurf. Now it's all admitted, private jets, money, everything, Paul. What is their ace in the hole? Or are they just crazy and think they can finally announce we're coming to take your guns? What type of strategy is that? Because Bill Maher said ban them 2 weeks ago. The New York Times said it, CNN. They're now, as a talking point, saying, fine, we're taking everything. Do they think psychologically we'll go, okay, just take the semi-autos? Do they, because we get the formula worldwide from where you live to Australia was to first ban the semi-autos, then ban people up to 21, and then register. I mean, we know the formula, Paul.
Well, I've seen other activists, prominent people within this March for Our Lives movement saying to these others who are saying, yeah, let's just take all the guns. We'll take it from your cold, dead hands. We saw the protest signs as well, saying basically we're going to do it violently. They're saying, no, what are you doing? Stop saying that. Stop admitting that this is the true agenda, because that's going to cause a massive resentment, a massive revolt amongst Republicans, and they'll go out and vote in these midterms. These polls, they've gone from 15 points Democrats in front. Everyone was pessimistic. It was a lost cause. Now it's down to a 5-point lead. It's almost within the margin of error. And it's happened while this gun control narrative has built up. So you've got people within that movement saying, what on earth are you doing? Saying we're going to take all the guns.
Exactly.
If you give us an inch, we'll take a mile. What are you doing? So I think it's a massive strategic error. Also, the other factor that I've pointed to is never in this discussion of, oh, we're going to confiscate all the guns, we're going to repeal the Second Amendment, is the question of, what consequences are you going to see if you take 300 million guns from roughly 70 million American gun owners? Even if, Alex, 1% of those people resisted, and the media is going to be all like, oh, you're calling for civil war. No, we're asking, what will the potential consequences be if you have police or whoever, military, confiscating millions and millions of guns from people who don't want to give them up? That question is never asked. It's never part of this narrative. So that's another issue. But I think it's a massive strategic error on their part. We've seen the true, the teeth of this movement.
No, I totally agree. So then why is Trump paying it lip service and finally starting to go sideways here?
Well, why did he sign the omnibus bill? It's the same thing. The base needs to hold his feet to the fire. We've done it before with Syria, where that was a mistake, and then they backtracked from it. It hasn't happened since. So don't give them that inch in the first place. That's one thing we can do, put pressure on Trump. But also,
absolutely,
Alex, don't interrupt the enemy when it's making a mistake. They're making a huge mistake right now. Let's give them a platform to keep saying the same thing, because it's working against their favor. politically right now and in the polls.
That's right. Trump is a populist, a free market, classic America, but really kind of a libertarian liberal. He was anti-war. He is kind of a liberal, but in a good way. And so his wife and his daughters are telling him do the gun control, and it's horrible advice, Trump. It's terrible advice. All right, I'm sorry the other callers were out of time. Paul's taking over. Chris and everybody else, we love you. Put them all on hold. Give them a free T-shirt, whatever they want. They're awesome. InfoWarsStore.com. Great job to the crew, by the way. And the War Room's coming up in 45 minutes. But first, Paul Joseph Watson. Spread the live links right now. We're changing history.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white male! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
We are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo.
This is the heart of 1776.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Huge nationwide protests erupted once again on President Donald Trump's second weekend in office.
When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States.
And most importantly, we will be protected by God.
From the front lines of the info war, it's Alex Jones.
No!
Oh my goodness, poor white people, please, oh my, stop.
It's been sold out for months, and now it's back. It's Myco ZX Plus. Lower price, more ingredients, because we scaled up, signed a year contract with an even bigger organic manufacturer and producer. Scalability. But now we're able to go at 50% off to $27 instead of $39, 50% off, because there's a lot of product and a lot of ingredient in Myco ZX. Now, it's the other side of the equation. Everybody thinks about probiotics and how great they are for your gut because of toxins in the environment, pesticides, herbicides, but more importantly than bad bacteria that probiotics help displace, yeast mold creates slime walls. And once the candida and the yeast and the mold and all that get in there, it causes all sorts of serious issues. Well, this has got a bunch of concentrated herbs in it and compounds known to destroy that slime wall. Don't wait to start detoxifying your body until it's too late. Pick up a bottle of the new and improved Myco ZX Plus now from the InfoWars store.